9397 Network and Hot 9397 presents Sapphire'S Soup du Jour with Just Bob, stirring the pot and serving the latest soup. Brought to you by Haylove Saloon, Adam's Apple, Janet'sCloset.com, and Janet'sDungeon.com.
Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Feels like a Friday, doesn't it? It does to me. Yeah, I know I got my coat. Whatever, it's cold in here. Happy Friday. Good morning. We're 2 minutes and 40 seconds away from going on for another 2 minutes before we get started. So, yeah, we got a minute. Hopefully you're waking up well. Hopefully you're warmer than I am. I'm freezing my ass off, but it's okay. We got a lot to talk about today. Not only turkey and ham, we're talking about human flesh and the nutrients that come with it. I'm not kidding you. I'm just the messenger. I would never eat it, but we're talking about it. Yep. Woo. I'm ready to go. And when I say ready to go, I'm ready to go. Like, I'm ready for tomorrow already. I'm excited. I might actually put the Christmas tree up today. Too early or no? Usually I wait until about 2 weeks before Christmas, and then I'm almost like to the point where it's like, man, screw all that work for 2 weeks. But if you put it up a month early, you get your use out of it. It is pretty, the lights and all, but I don't know. We'll see. I got pies to bake. Do you bake them or do you make them? Depends on what you're making, right? You don't bake a chocolate pie, do you? You cook it. Or do you? No, you cook the pudding and you dump it in a pie crust. That's it. 1 minute. I don't know who I'm telling, but 1 minute. Ooh, it's chilly. So hopefully, and it's not even cold out yet, right? I mean, it's cold, but it's not cold yet, like it's going to be. It's too early in the morning to twist the bottle, tap the bottle and twist the cap. It's never too early for coffee, though. I got to go shopping. Oh, man. I'm going on my way home from here. I'm not going in the afternoon. You can have all that. Whoops. Hold on.
We don't care if you jam out with your clam out or rock out with your out. Just do it here on WHOT Hot 9397. Initiating.
Who approved that nonsense?
3, 2, 1.
Got to make sure everything's working. Last time it wouldn't.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Good morning. Good morning. Hello and how are you? Good morning. I say good morning. Hello and how are you?
Oh, yes, it is Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving. Everybody gets together with their families and friends, and we eat, and we drink, and we be merry. Good morning. Hopefully you're waking up well. I know I am. I can't even begin to think where to start with all this. I mean, turkey, ham, mashed potatoes, yams. I don't even know what yams are, but I've heard that they go with a Thanksgiving meal, holiday type of meal. Apple pie, pumpkin pie, coconut cream pie, chocolate pie, any kind of cream pie. Boston cream pie is delicious, but it's not necessarily a Thanksgiving type of pie. But that's all we're talking about today. Well, that's not all we're talking about today, but we're talking about all of that today. Are you a football watcher where you sit and have the football games on? Maybe the guys are watching the football and the girls are talking. Some girls do like football. Or are you a movie watcher where they've got the traditional movies on? And then you can also maybe, go on, you rent one or something, or however you view your movies. But the whole day is supposed to be about relaxing and about giving thanks for the things that we have in our life. And we obviously fall very short of that, especially lately, right? Especially lately. We get so wrapped up in everything going on around us that we can't control a lot of. And we lose track of being thankful for the little things, right? We being thankful if you got to run your kids all over town at the end of the school day, and you just don't have enough time in your day to do everything. Be thankful for that, because when it's gone, you'll miss it. But then you'll find other things to take your time too. All those little things. You got a job, you're working today, you can't wait to get off today because you're off tomorrow. Maybe you've got Friday off too, so you get a long weekend. It's just an exciting time. Enjoy that, relish in it, be thankful for it, right? We always set goals for ourselves for happiness. I can't wait until I can get, every week, Friday, right? We can't wait for Friday, working for the weekend. It's finally here, all that. We're always setting goals and achievement levels. Well, let's be thankful for what we have, whether you're where you want to be in life or not. Be thankful for what you do have. Maybe you don't have enough, but you got something. Right? I mean, if not, then we need to get you help. We need to get you a place where we can get you a warm jacket, because you should be thankful. I'm thankful. I have a warm jacket on right now, and I'm thankful for it because it's colder than heck in here, but it's cold. And the office is here, the way it's arranged. Our studio now is kind of in the very end of the building, furthest away from the furnace. So it gets a little bit colder in here with the door closed and stuff too, but we're on the air, so we got to make sure we keep it quiet, for us to be able to do our job properly up in here. So yeah, all things today are going to be geared toward being thankful, and that's what the food's about, right? When you break bread with people, family, friends, it's a different thing. At least to me it is, right? If we're going to eat together, there's a lot of times I'll go somewhere and I'm not eating. If I'm sitting there and I'm comfortable enough to eat, I'm comfortable. I'll sit hungry and not eat if I'm not comfortable. And when I get home, I'll eat. And that's where I'm comfortable at. We gather together with family and friends to be thankful for stuff. Let's do that more often. Of course, today we talk about it because it's a special kind of day. National Taiwan Day, actually, today is. And we'll talk about that. It's not what you're thinking. And yes, if you are going to tie one on with adult beverages, make sure you don't drink and drive, right? Get an Uber, get a Lyft, have a buddy drive, a designated driver, whatever. But we got to be careful out there. No doubt about it. We could ruin a holiday just like that. And we see it all the time. So be thankful. Forget all of the worries you have about political issues. Forget all the worries about whether you can have an abortion or not. Just enjoy the weekend, right? Which starts, well, heck, right now. We're starting it right now. It's Wednesday morning, early. Where are we at? 7:09 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm already on the weekend because it's the mindset. It's the mentality you have, right? Maybe you got to work tomorrow. I'd be mad too. But if you don't have to work tomorrow, Enjoy that. And yes, this is a slap in the face. Be thankful you have a job if you have to work tomorrow. But I will say this, everything should be closed tomorrow. Today should be the day that maybe open like the grocery store, maybe open till noon. Because you got to remember, if it's open till noon, people are running in at noon, and then they got to do a half hour of shopping. So the people are not going to get out of there. If you close at noon, the workers won't get out of there till 2 p.m. Well, if they get out at 2 p.m., that's plenty of time for the family to have planned a 4 p.m. dinner. I'm just saying, there's ways around it, but you can't force a company to close, because who dictates what goes on in a store? The customers. If they're busy for Black Friday, people always say, you shouldn't be open on Thursday. Just wait for Black Friday. And I agree with that. But when the stores are packed Thanksgiving evening, you're going to be open. Why would you lose out an opportunity for all that money to be made when the customers are telling you, we want you open? That's what happens. And now you get those deals. It's my daughter's like that, or she used to be. Now with the kids, I think she stays at home more a little bit on Thanksgiving Eve. But yeah, my oldest daughter was like that. She was bought into that. It was an event for them. The family would eat dinner, and then the ones who wanted to go shopping would go shopping, and it was an adventure. They knew they were going to stand in lines. They knew they were going to be out there in the chaos. They enjoyed it. They didn't complain about long lines. They didn't complain about the madness. They contributed to it. And it was their thing. So we dictate places being open on Thanksgiving. I hate it. I do. I hate it for the people. Thanksgiving is a day that we should literally be thankful. And it's not to talk about where the origin of Thanksgiving came from. It's talking about perspective in your own life. Right? That's what the turkey's all about. How many people get a whole turkey and cook it other than Thanksgiving? Very few people. Maybe a turkey breast, maybe a half a turkey, something like that. But you don't, or part of a turkey, whatever. But you don't, not often do you have whole turkeys made for dinner. It's just not typical. And some do. I'm not saying exclusively, but most people cook turkey once a year. Why? If you liked it that much, it would be cooked more often. And it's not that you don't like it. It's because it's the reason. It's the tradition of it. Cranberry. It pops out of the can. It stays looking like it's in the can. It's just a bunch of weird stuff to me. I don't like it, but I don't eat it. But I like cranberry juice with my vodka. Thank you. We all have different things. For me, I've said it before, and we've talked about it now. This is our third season with the radio station holding down the mornings for the Thanksgiving. And I say the same thing every year. I'm a boring Thanksgiving traditionalist type food. It's really simple when you come over. It's very simple. Turkey, stuffing. And I'm not going, I tried homemade stuffing. We talked about this. I use 2 boxes of the stuffing that you get. What do they call it? The stovetop. I use 2 of those. I put them in there, no special anything. Because I tried the homemade stuff and it just didn't work well at all. So I said, screw it. Hardy checking in on the live stream broadcast. Good morning. I start work at 4:30 today, 4 to 9. Woo, it's a long day. 4:30 p.m. Okay, I was going to say you're working 4:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. You go get all that money, buddy. Good luck today starting your job. Good luck, Harley. Yeah, check in. We are not only live streaming on the social media apps, YouTube, 9397 Network, Sapphire'S Soup du Jour, Sapphire page, Facebook, all that. 9397 Networks app. You download the free app, and then you can contact us right on the app. Keep in contact with us and all things going on with the whole network, right? Television and radio side. So, and then if you don't have the app or you don't want to use your phone or you can't, maybe you're not that tech savvy, right? Don't worry about it. You got a computer in front of you. 9397network.com. Real simple. Click listen. If you can't figure that out, I don't know how you have children. You just sit there and let her do all the work? Is that what it is? I gotcha. Nothing wrong with that. Called maximizing your relaxation. Oh, travel day. Today's one of the busiest travel days for the busiest travel time of the year. Be sure when you are packing your luggage that you don't pack a live cat. Okay? Pack, if you're going to be going alone, go alone. All by yourself. Always make sure you've not packed your live cat before checking your luggage at the airport if you're going to see a loved one. This is, at first you would think, what in the heck? X-rays show a live cat trapped in checked luggage, getting ready to go into a pressurized luggage port, baggage place in the bottom of an airplane. But a TSA agent in New York City spotted it in the checked luggage going through the X-ray. Safely got the cat out of the bag. It was an orange tabby. Now, if it gets put into the luggage compartment, it's cold and it's pressurized. The cat might not do so well. The cat belonged, although it was not the person's individual cat, it was someone who lived with them. So it was probably their kid's cat or something. So yeah, it's your cat. You could try to deny it, but no foul play. The luggage was taken aside, the cat was rescued, and everything was fine. They said, hey, I have no idea about this. Cool. You got to think about it though. The cat beds, they like the four walls. They like the security of the four walls. And they like to have the barriers around it, right? And that's just the way it is. So cats, when you're packing, jump in there. There's a really simple way to make sure that they're not in there, right? Check. Look, go through the baggage and don't just open it and look because they'll snuggle in, right? Make sure there's nothing in there alive and then zip it shut because the cat can't zip it back open, right? It's really simple. This is right up there with the put something important in the back seat of your car so you remember to look for your kid that's back there. How does that work? What's more important than your kid? Right? I can see a guy like, I better put my darts in my pool cue back there so I don't forget little Susie. Little Susie's like, well, screw you too. Like, oh, I better put my sewing machine back there. I would hate to forget Jonathan. Jonathan's like, well, ain't that something? Thanks a lot. I don't get it. The things that we do. Turkey, my tradition. I couldn't imagine having ham instead of turkey, but you could have ham and turkey, but we have a small gathering. It's me, my partner, my partner's aunt, and my mother. That's it. I make a 12 today. Well, this year is a 12-pound turkey. My mom eats like a bird. She eats one slice of turkey. It's about all she can handle. And then she'll get like a big heaping tablespoon of mashed potatoes and be like, oh, I'm really overdoing it today. Okay. So yeah, turkey for me. Back to my boring food. Turkey, mashed potatoes with gravy, stuffing, broccoli with cheese, a biscuit. Pretty boring stuff, I know, because I know there's people out there going, no, you forgot the mac and cheese, you forgot the cornbread, you forgot this and that. I know, I'm a basic bitch when it comes to that. I'm sorry. It's what I'm used to. It's what I know I can make and not mess up. I would hate to make something. Now, here's one thing, though. Green bean casserole. Oh, I love it. I do. I can't help it. I don't know why. I love it. I'd make it, but I'm the only one who eats it. So You eat too many beans, the whole house is a little bit, you got to light candles and everything. And we're going to be talking about later a little thing. You ever heard of Brown Friday? Mm-hmm. We're going to be talking about that when Bob gets back, because he'll be able to relate really well to it, I believe. But until then, we'll just talk about the day leading up to Brown Friday. And I know you've heard of Black Friday, and I know you think you know what I'm talking about. You go, adolescent, Brown Friday, haha. Not what you're thinking. But you go ahead and think that. You go ahead and outthink yourself. Go ahead with yourself. I'm just kidding. Coffee break. We got Hump Day blasted in the background. Well, not blasting, but playing I hope it's playing in the background. I haven't even listened. Let's see. Yeah, good enough. You can barely hear it the way it's supposed to be. Yeah, so I'm excited because for me, it's tradition. I am thinking about putting up the Christmas tree today. I am. I'm serious. And I can't believe it. But I'm actually, and I'm thankful. I love the holiday season. It's always been my favorite time of year, but there's been things in my life over the past 12 years that have made it very difficult to enjoy a lot of the holiday season. But I always found a way to try to get through it. But I'm actually excited for this season, this year. I'm looking forward to it. So I'm like, you know what? I've been a mess for a lot of them because of one reason or another, and it doesn't matter why, but we all have our things in life. And this year I'm just in a good place, and I'm thinking I might put the tree up. Depends on how my trip to the store goes. When I get there, if there's no chocolate pudding, no coconut cream pudding, I'm going to plan B for the pie, because there will be homemade pies in my house today. Whatever kind. If I like chicken pot pie, I'm making a pie for dinner tomorrow for dessert. Deb Langer checking in, putting that tree up. LOL. Mine is already up. That way, girl. Hey, good morning. Thank you for checking in and saying good morning and listening. Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I'm in the spirit a little bit more than usual this year. I don't decorate outside so much, but I decorate a little bit, just mostly the tree and then a couple of knickknacks and stuff around the house. But I really don't get into a bunch of decorations. But at the same time, I do like the tree because it looks good. You got all the lights are out in the house and then the tree lit up. Now, the question for that is it white lights or colored lights? Is it solid lights or blinking lights? I have all of it, and I don't know which ones work anymore. My tree is so old, and it's got to be 30 years old. It's got to be. And it's not real, so don't worry. I had to add that. Somebody would be like, I hope it's not real. Yeah, I take it out every year and replant it. That's another thing too, though. Talking about, we'll get a little bit ahead of ourselves here, but since I'm talking about possibly putting up the tree, they're not even available right now for a real one, so you better be talking artificial. But there's nothing like the smell of a real tree, right? So if you put up a tree for Thanksgiving, you're not going to get that smell of it, but you're going to have the smell of all the food. It ain't nothing like it. And for me, I get up in the morning. I'm a fortunate girl. I live in the city of Detroit. I live outside the city of Detroit. I live in the area of Detroit. I don't claim the big D and the 313 because I'm not from there, but I'm from the 313, but I don't claim all that. I'm 50 some years old. I think I'm 54. And I like the Detroit, America's Thanksgiving Day Parade. And it's second to only New York. And it might be second to none. It may be just as good as New York's, but I think New York's is probably a little bit bigger. But nonetheless, Detroit's got a stellar Thanksgiving Day Parade. And I watch that in the morning. And I get up early, and I usually make biscuits and gravy. Got to put that on my list. Biscuits and gravy. For breakfast, I usually make biscuits and gravy, scrambled eggs with ham and cheese in it, and potatoes. Homemade, I dice them up, and I make the potatoes with bacon grease in them. Put bacon grease on the bottom of the pan, a good amount, right? You want these things cooking. And you're not deep frying them, though. So you just want a nice layer of bacon grease. And I know it's not good for you. I don't care. It's so delicious. It's one of those things. You give thanks for bacon, and you cook all your food in bacon grease. But it's delicious. And then scrambled eggs, and then the biscuits and gravy, and the little bit of gravy with the scrambled eggs mixed in. Oh, it's to die for. I love it. Well, it's literally to die for, because my cholesterol will go up 100 points when I'm done with my breakfast tomorrow. Problem is this. I get up and I do all that. It's about 10:30. We eat dinner at 2. So if I eat a big breakfast, I only eat once a day, maybe twice a day. But I usually eat once a day. I'll snack on a little something, like I'll have a breakfast bar or something like that. But I've been eating about once a day and a regular meal. And if I do that, I eat at 10:30 in the morning, the biscuits and gravy, the scrambled eggs with ham and cheese in it, and the potatoes. I'm not hungry at 2, but I eat again at 2. So that's 2. Then you kind of can't just have one plate. So you go back for not exactly seconds, because there's a certain amount of time that expires, that goes by. Once that amount of time elapses, you go, these are not seconds. Now I'm snacking. This is a whole nother meal. And so it counts that way. So now you've eaten a good solid breakfast and 2 dinners before 4 p.m. Don't forget, there's ice cream in the freezer and there's pies to be eaten. Now you see where Brown Friday's headed. But it's not. It's a play on what you're thinking. And maybe you're having deer. Maybe because it is deer season, right? So maybe you're having deer. For one year we had goose and duck, I think. My grandpa, I don't know what happened, but we didn't have turkey. And I like turkey for Thanksgiving. I don't want to try a new bird for Thanksgiving, right? Let's not do that. Let's have what we know works. That's the way I am. Now, like Bob was saying, Bob's going out to dinner. They got their kitchen under construction, as you've been listening to over the past week or two. In the background, it sounds like a woodpecker chipping on a tree. No, that's the kitchen people doing a remodel of their kitchen. And their kitchen's closed. So they're going out to eat this year. I couldn't do it. I'd have to go to someone else's house. They are going to a nice place though, so at least you're not going to somewhere that you're getting yucky turkey and stuff like that, Just preference, so at least they're going somewhere nice. But Bob's not into football. So it doesn't really I have to have the game. I was at my uncle's memorial service the other day. I had the Lions game on. I turned it on mute and didn't watch it while we were actually memorializing him, and they were speaking on his behalf or speaking, eulogizing him, I guess you'd say. And everybody was sharing their memories with them that wanted to get up there. But other than that, yeah, football. I love it. But it's tradition. It's just what my dad did, my grandpa did, my uncles all did. We just listened. It was on. So to me, the parade in the morning has to be on, right? It's tradition. I don't even have to necessarily be watching it. A lot of it I don't even see. People go, man, did you see that? No, I watched the whole thing, but I didn't watch it. It's just on, right? It's just comfort for me to be sitting there. It reminds me, ever since I was little, we watched the parade. I mean, we always had one in Detroit. So it's just one of those things that it's a local thing that we're fortunate for that we take for granted, like having a major sports team. Detroit, Chicago, New York, all the Kansas City, all these sports teams, and it's a blessing. It's nice to have that team to root for. I remember when I lived in northern Maine, uh, no professional team to root for. They rooted for the Giants, New York Giants, mostly, and it's like such a long distance relationship, right? You don't have that ownership, and I know being a Detroit Lions fan is tough. Now, 3 in a row victories, and that's a beautiful thing right now, but 3 in a row. But it's tough being a Lions fan, but nonetheless, it's a beautiful thing that we should be thankful for that Detroit people have NFL franchise to cheer for and to claim. And it's just so those little pride things that cities have and stuff like that. And sporting events, I mean, it brings big money too, right? I mean, look, downtown area, look at the park. If you could own a piece of parking lot near a stadium, you make a killing. I mean, they charge $20 to $50 to park each car. That's a good deal, right? You no running water, nothing to pay for, just a little shed to keep the money in and protect that. That's it. Pretty simple stuff. But all right, we're going to break. You're listening to Sapphire'S Soup du Jour on Hot 93.97. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, you already know. We're here
What a
to
fuck, what an asshole this guy is.
Soup du jour on
Block.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, Sapphire here. Be sure to download the free 93.97.
We got some jackwagon on the live stream trying to put up their triple X site. Girl, bye. Oh, gotta turn this down. Oh man, let's see. It's 7:32. We come back at 7:52. 20-minute music break. Woo, woo, gotta like that, don't you? Yeah. Uh-oh. What do we got here? Look back at 1 year ago. Maybe I don't want to. Google. These smartphones, man. Oh, I got to share my thing here. We are live until 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Yeah.
Good morning.
StreamYard's got to do a better job of keeping these porno sites off of these streams. I mean, it's like, what the hell, man? They got to be able to not allow it in. Like, it shouldn't be our burden to have these people posting their crap on our stream, on our live streams if they want us to use their service. Yeah. All right. I'll be back. I'll put it up what time we're coming back.
Welcome to Adam's Apple, your neighborhood LGBT bar serving all your favorite drink. With friendly and knowledgeable bartenders that keep the party going and make sure your needs are met.
It's the cheers of the gay bar. Your bartenders know who's coming in, where they're going to sit, how long they're going to be.
Kick back and enjoy some fresh air on their large enclosed heated patio. Open year-round with music and weekly barbecues. Karaoke every Thursday night where you're the star. And Mexican Fiesta on the last Monday of every month. Located at 18931 West Warren, Detroit, Adam's Apple.
Oh. Hi. Just under a minute left till we go back. I know I'm freezing, so whatever. I got no shame to my game. I'm freezing. It's cold as shit in here, so I'm putting my coat on. Like my hands are frozen. It's freezing in here. It's ridiculous. But oh well. Pretty rough being here for 3 hours when you're freezing your ass off the whole time. Need a heater up in here. I'll bring my own. There used to be one. They took it. Probably in the other room where they're at. I wouldn't blame them. Cold as shit in here, man. Alrighty then, we are back indeed. You're listening to Sapphire'S Soup du Jour, stirring the pot and serving the latest soup. Really not stirring the pot today much at all, but we're kind of talking about being thankful for everything that we've got in life. Whatever it might be, we have plenty to be thankful for. So let's start acting like that instead of all the things that we don't have and wish we could have and would have and should have and all that. So we've been talking a lot about food already. I'm getting hungry. I ain't even going to lie. But now we're switching gears a little bit. It's hunting season. It's deer season. And it's not just up here in the great mitten state of Michigan either, right? And of course, hunting is actually dangerous, right? You use guns, and guns are dangerous. Nebraska, we see you. We don't talk about Nebraska very often. And it's not because we don't love Nebraska, the Cornhusker state. I mean, who doesn't love Nebraska? Come on. Well, we got bad news coming out of Nebraska. 3 deer hunters were shot by members of their own hunting parties over opening weekend, according to the Nebraska Game and Parks Commission. Inexperience with weapons lead to these type of mistakes. Sunday was the last day of Nebraska's deer rifle season. A 20-year-old man was seriously injured Sunday, flown to the trauma center when he was accidentally shot by another hunter who was following him up an embankment. So this is not a mistaken identity where, oh, I thought he was a deer. No. You're being careless with your firearm and you shot somebody in the back. If you were following him up an embankment, you shot him in the back. And that is completely preventable. Completely preventable. Because why? Because you never point your weapon at anything you don't want to destroy. And when you're walking up with your weapon, you make sure you're not pointing it at anybody, which means you're not just haphazardly walking up the neighborhood, up the embankment like was going on here. I wasn't there. I was not in Red Willow County. But I know what happened because I know how things happen. This wasn't mistaken identity. I thought you were a deer, right? On Saturday, a 22-year-old man hunting along the Platte River was taken to the emergency room with injuries to his hands. Shot himself? Oh, no. He was unintentionally shot by another member of his hunting party. Here, hold mine. Boom. Oh. On Friday, a man was shot in the arm by another hunter. It was a close range shot, but not considered life-threatening. So, go out in the woods, all thousands of you at once, and start shooting back and forth. It sounds pretty dangerous to me. But carelessness, It's nobody meant it. No charges filed, maybe, or maybe there are. Who knows? It's not part of the story. Hunting accidents. You're shooting your buddies. Could you imagine, right? I mean, Dick Cheney shot his buddy. I think it was his buddy. That would strain the friendship, I would think, right? So again, let's reiterate some hunting safety rules. There's 4 key safety rules. Treat every gun as if it's loaded. Yes, every gun is loaded. I don't care if you pick up a disassembled gun and just the barrel. Don't point that barrel at me. That's where the bullet comes from. Let's just not take any chances, right? Treat every gun as it's loaded. Always point your muzzle in a safe direction, which means you can't shoot your buddy in the back walking up an embankment. Because if the gun does go off, at no point in time do we leave chance as a player. At no point in time, your only thing is make sure you do not point that thing at anybody or anything you do not wish to destroy. It's not don't point and pull the trigger. You do not point it at anything you don't want to destroy, even if it's on safety. You just don't do it. That way, accidents cannot happen. Be sure of your target, front of it, and beyond it. If you don't know what's beyond it because your bullet will travel a mile, then you don't shoot, which means hunting now become pretty tough to do. Keep your finger outside of the trigger guard until you're ready to shoot. 4 things. Treat every gun as loaded. Point your muzzle in a safe direction. Never, never, never at anybody or anything you want to keep. Be sure of your target, front and beyond. And don't put your finger on the trigger until you're ready to pull the trigger. You're welcome. Just a little something I thought I'd share. Now I'm looking at a little kid. She's probably 12 years old. She bagged herself a deer. I can't stand looking at it. I'm not mad at people, though. That's as long as you're respectful and you bring me some of the venison meat, I'm cool with that, right? I mean, I'll eat deer, I'll eat pig, I'll eat cow, I'll eat chicken. I got no problem with that. I eat fish, I eat hamburger. I mean, I'm okay with that. I'm not going to kill the animal. I know what has to be done for it to happen, but I'll let the professionals do that. And then we'll go from there. Yeah, I hunt in the meat section of my local grocery store. And that's where I prefer to do it. I'm not mad at other people for doing it. I could not. I get upset when I see people that bag a deer and they're proud and they put a picture of it up. But I'm not mad. Like, it's like if they're proud, but if it's part of the experience, or not experience, but it's ritual, you're paying respects for it. I know it's hard to pay respect to something you just killed, but you're killing it for a reason. So if it's just for sport, that's a reason too, but maybe we don't agree with that, but it's still legal. Don't shoot your buddy on accident, though. Good point. Oh boy, I don't know. The whole gun thing is scary now because we are literally hunting each other, and it's a little bit. Quite honestly, it's disgusting. So, what is it that is off limits? I don't think anything is anymore. Even cannibalism is fine as part of a balanced diet, according to cannibal experts. Yes, we have cannibal experts, right? Cannibalism expert is going to explain this movie, bones and all. Is it really healthy to eat a human? Bones and all. Now, this is the latest film by Luca Guadagnino, Bones and All. The Call Me By Your Name director reunites Timothy Chalamet to tell yet another story of young love, right? This time it's not two gorgeous gay boys. It's two high school dropout vagabonds who particularly enjoy the taste of human flesh. In Bones and All, based on Camille DeAngelis' novel of the same name, Bones and All, they play Lee and Marin, two young adults whose penchant for eating human flesh has consigned them to the fringes of society, leading them to set off on a road trip through America's back roads and beltways. Humans snack along the way every now and again, but they try their best to be good, knowing that feeding on another human being requires taking advantage of them. Yet, like an addiction, they cannot resist their deeper hunger. Bones and All tells a surprisingly beautiful tale about love and loss. The film is about loneliness, trauma, belonging. More than anything, it's about cannibalism. And, do you want to eat flesh all the time? Is it possible? What about the nutrients in it, right? Is there nutrition in it? Now, according to Bill Shutt, a zoologist, he says compare it to somebody who has decided that all they're going to do is eat cow for the rest of their life. No fruit, no vegetables, just meat, mammal meat. It could be muscle, steak or ribs. It could be an organ, liver, kidneys. Good Lord. You'd be getting a lot of protein and fat, no carbs, very, very few vitamins. Vitamin C, vitamin D, all the sort of deficiencies that go along with lack of those vitamins become apparent very quickly. Your LDL cholesterol levels are going to shoot through the roof. You're probably going to be lethargic. Or perhaps, he says, you might end up in such precarious health that a shot of apple cider would keep you from sleeping for a month, which is an exaggeration, I'm sure. So Lee and Marin really want to go out and eat human flesh, but it's absurd to think that there would be a biological reason for people to just consume human bodies as a regular practice, a means of nutrition, right? These are kids on the run. They need all the energy they can muster. Human flesh is hard to secure, right? So they do eat other things throughout the movie, but they're always presented as a second choice, right? I prefer the left arm of that person over there, but hey, a bowl of Fruit Loops will do. I don't know about all that. So, if they consume the contents of the person's stomach and there were plant matter in there, then they would be getting some partially digested whatever veggies that guy ate. I can't stomach it. But you're not going to store enough essential nutrients that you'd get from eating the plants and fruits yourself instead of waiting to get it out of their stomach. Yeah, doesn't sound very appetizing. Human flesh can be unsafe to eat. Even if our hypothetical real-life cannibals would diversify their diet to avoid scurvy, they would still be vulnerable to many other diseases and bloodborne pathogens. Bovine spongiform encephalopathy. AKA mad cow disease. Kuru, a fatal degenerative brain disorder found among 4 people of Papua New Guinea who performed cannibalism as a funerary practice. But we can't afford a funeral, so how about we just chow down? Yeesh. The closest thing you can think of to that is Alzheimer's. It turns your brain into a sponge. There's holes in it. And this is what happens to you if you eat the flesh of a human, especially from the brains and spinal cord and nerves of somebody who has this disease. This is really deep. Like, I didn't know we had cannibalism experts. That's a little worrisome. I didn't know this was a thing. Now, if you cook the meat good enough, he says, some of this will go away. Every eater, they call it, quote unquote eater, in bones and all, consume the flesh raw, right off the body. So just take a bite. They didn't say if they killed the people or not. Maybe the meat's no good once they're dead. Maybe you got to chew on their arm while they're alive. This is a film. This is a film. Taboo bomb film, but not too sure I could stomach that. The severity of the taboo around cannibalism is related in part to our already sensitive feelings around food. No, you don't eat humans. I guess it depends on where you're from. I don't know. I couldn't imagine. Humans eating other humans is no. But here's the deal about this movie now. Bones and All does a little bit of something new, right? They're mixing the surrealism of cannibalism with very real problems of marginality and addiction. Because they don't want to go out and do this, but they can't help themselves. It's like an addiction drug. You don't want to go steal your mom's television and everything, but you do it anyway. You can't help it. Bones and all. Bones are tough to digest, they say. We can't chew them hard enough. Our jaws will not allow. They automatically release after so much tension is put on them. Your teeth break. That's the way it is. No. Let's see. If you're a cannibal, so there, in a sense, the taboo of cannibalism is the one practical thing Bones and All gets right? I don't understand that, but that's according to this snippet of the book, maybe. Cannibalism in other stages, in the early stages of modern society, cannibalism was used to justify murder and the destruction of civilizations in places like the Caribbean, Africa, Central and South America. If you were a cannibal, it didn't matter if you were doing it because it was a religious ritual, then you were not a human. It's this history, they say, that makes it so odd to witness the recent emergence of the practice of placenta eating among some American mothers. Excuse me, who's eating the placenta? Raise your hand, chime in, holla, I'd like to hear about it. Or maybe I wouldn't. The act of cannibalism in the film is often compounded with murder. Two big no-nos. Well, yeah. Which is worse, though? Eating them alive or once they're dead? It's the eating of the people, not the murder, that makes them unable to rejoin society. People are like, well, killing is one thing, but eating them, now you got to go. You know how you can eat bones? If you really cook them, really cook them, turn them into charcoal, then you could eat it. You might get some type of nutritional benefit, but not a raw bone. It will tear you up. What are we doing here? These people are crazy, huh? It sounds like it. Maybe not. Maybe I'm the crazy one. You can put the bones in a food processor, they say. This is Mr. Shutt explains that you could put bones in a food processor, though it must be bone compliant. Grind them up, but eating them is a no-go. The way our jaws are built, Shutt's book his next book will be about teeth. If you take a decent-sized bone, put it in your mouth, and bite down on it hard, you would not be able to break it because your jaw muscles would automatically relax when you get to a certain amount of pressure. This is way too thought out. Way too thought out. My God, when I get home today, I don't even know if I could eat a chicken leg right now, to be honest with you. I would probably think it was not of chicken. Unbelievable. But anyway, the movie, bones and all. I'm not watching it. Couldn't even imagine what are you going to eat while you're watching this movie. I guess you could do a little thing. We're watching the movie. You could have like chicken wings and something like turkey legs that are the shape of a human being. I don't know. To try to make some kind of a theme party for it. I don't know. It's crazy to me. But then you don't know what you're really getting, right? Be like, we're missing one of our friends, and I made chili. Egad. That's all I got. When we start talking about cannibalism, that's a whole other kind of food. We don't condone that. I could never. Never say never. We talked about that a couple months ago when we talked about the soccer team that crashed and they had to resort to it and they ate their friends because they had to. That's a whole nother ball game. Bones and all. You're welcome. Oy. Things that we talk about. It's amazing. I got my list though, and bones ain't on it. I'm packing up, ready for a big day tomorrow, packing my fridge full of stuff, and then you cook all day, and then you eat for what, 15, 20 minutes or something like that. And that's about it. But I'm excited, and I'm trying to get my plan B together. In fact, when we go to music break, I'm going to start looking at a couple of different pie recipe ideas because my goal is, I think I want to make a pumpkin pie. But I think I'm the only one who eats it. Cool Whip. I need to put Cool Whip on the list. See? There we go. I'm the only one who eats it. So what kind of pie are we going to be making today? You won't know until Friday morning when I tell you about it. And I won't be having any leftovers, so I won't be bringing that in. But yeah, so we're getting ready. We're going to help get you started because we're going to be triggering things, right? We were talking earlier, turkey or ham, and is it the mashed potatoes or yams, or is that one, or would it be cranberry or yams? I don't know what yams are. So I don't know if it's kind of like a potato, but just sweeter, or whatever. And don't say, no, that's a sweet potato, because I know what those are, and I don't know if they're sweet, but I don't even know if they're potatoes. So no, I don't know what they are. But I'm excited. And also, I'll be making for my aunt salmon. Not my aunt's salmon. I'll be making salmon for my aunt because she doesn't eat the turkey. And we want to make everybody comfortable and enjoy their day. So she picks what she wants to eat, and I make it. It's that simple. So yeah, exciting time to be thankful. I'm thankful that I'm still alive. I'm thankful that I'm able to celebrate, even though I celebrate very small. It's because the kids all have other things going on, and I'm not going to be the one to make everybody stop by and all that. It's too much. So I see the kids when I'm allowed and able. The grandkids are there close to me, and they, like I was saying earlier, though, they do the shopping thing too. So it's so much craziness. But we've got to remember what the season is about. And it's not a day. Thanksgiving is a day. But that's more of the federal holiday type thing. You get the day off unless you are a retail worker and you have to go in, and that sucks, but that's the way it is. You just have to be thankful. That's the biggest thing, whatever it is you're eating and all that. But we're going to take a break. When we get back, we got plenty more to cover today. Again, we're going to be talking about what pie and what food. I love food, but maybe you're not traditionalist. We're going to talk about that too. What about if you do, like, no, we buck the tradition. We're getting pizza, or we're doing, Italian or Mexican food or something like that. So maybe that's the deal. But we'll talk about all that coming up. You're listening to Sapphire's Soup du Jour on Hot 93.97. Keep it live. Listen to some LL Cool J. All right, we'll be back shortly. I'll let you know when.
Welcome to Adam's Apple, your neighborhood LGBT bar serving all your favorite drink. With friendly and knowledgeable bartenders that keep the party going and make sure your needs are met.
It's the cheers of the game bar. Your bartenders know who's coming in, where they're going to sit, how long you're going to be.
Kick back and enjoy some fresh air on their large enclosed heated patio. Open year-round with music and weekly barbecues. Karaoke every Thursday night where you're the star. And Mexican Fiesta on the last Monday of every month. Located at 18931 West Warren, Detroit, Adam's Apple.
We come back at 8:40. Bob, you hear me? You see me? Hi, hello. 8:40. We come back.
Oh, we got our side coming this morning at 10:30.
All right, we're back. Bob's over there farting around. I don't know what he's doing. We got three more minutes before we go on live here. You hear me, Bob? You see me, Bob? I don't know. Can you guys hear me? I don't know. What's going on? Bob don't hear me. I got to jump around playing.
Jump around playing.
You hear me?
I hear you now.
I don't hear you.
You don't hear me? I'm not muted.
But because of the music.
Yep.
Could be because of the music.
Probably.
Let's see. Oh, we're good.
Well, I know we're good.
Probably just because the music's on.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I'm freezing. Having trouble with this computer again. It just lags so bad. Like I'll click a button and it gets a little globe and it takes forever for it to work. I'm just like, what? It's too much going on, I guess.
I guess.
Ooh, I got to film a basketball game today at 1:45 or something like that at Callahan Hall.
Yep.
on McNichols. I've never
Yep.
been there or whatever, but
Yep.
it's like,
U of D
So
Mercy
I'm leaving
sounds
here.
like-
I got to hit the grocery store, go home and chill for a bit, go film a basketball game, and then make pies tonight. Woo, woo.
Woo woo.
Hopefully, I get the feeling back in my fingers by then. I'm about to put my mittens on. It's freezing in here. Huh?
I don't know. Are you hearing me now? Yeah, you're not hearing me. So.
Oh. Be right back.
Okay.
Woo. Freezing. It's probably warmer outside. Maybe they got the air on.
Ugh.
Win prizes. You sound stupid. All right, we're back. Indeed. 8:40 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm Sapphire Pates.
I'm just Bob.
Could barely hear you, Bob. You there?
I am here.
All
Live
right.
and in Poison and talking up.
Excellent. Keep talking.
I'll keep talking. Looking forward
you
to
go.
a wonderful dinner tomorrow.
Yeah, I was talking about that a little bit ago. You're one of those that are not going to be eating at home tomorrow because the kitchen's kind of foobar at the
Yeah.
moment.
It's a mini train wreck going on. Yes,
It happens.
it does happen, and it was planned happening. It's okay.
All right, we got your audio going on the radio station. That's what's important to me. I can hear you, but not terribly loud. But on the radio station, you're loud and clear. So
Well, you don't want to hear me loud anyway, so that's
yeah, I can hear you a little bit better now. So doing good.
good.
All right,
Yep. Sounded
there
fine.
we go.
Looking good. You're looking a little chilly there on the live stream this morning.
Oh my God, it's freezing in here. Absolutely freezing in here today. But it
Why?
happens.
That's why I had to go back to a photo that reminds me of Thanksgiving a couple years ago. If I can't be there, I can pretend I'm there.
Absolutely, it's all in your mind.
I can be
Today,
there.
you know what today is, right?
What is today?
National Taiwan Day.
Ah,
Not what you're thinking. Don't get confused. It's not about going out, getting crazy, drinking too much,
yeah.
while
but
others at home working real hard, getting ready for tomorrow.
but they do say it's a big bar day today.
It's one of the biggest bar days of the year. So be
Right.
careful if you're out drinking.
Yes.
Don't drive. If you're driving, don't drink and all that stuff. Get home safe. Drive, bring them home alive and all that.
Make sure you're there for dinner tomorrow. Yes.
Absolutely, you know, absolutely. Today we celebrate tying on an apron
Oh.
to celebrate the past generations of women who wore them,
Ah.
right? It's also created as a day to bring joy to the life of someone in need. Celebrate the spirit of giving.
Cool.
Yeah.
I like it.
But we're all going to go tie one on.
Well, if you're putting on an apron, just make sure you're dressed underneath.
Yes. Women in clad, women, what do you call that? If you're clad in an apron. Is it right? You're in the apron.
Right.
Women clad in aprons have traditionally prepared the Thanksgiving meal.
Yes. That's the visual that you get when you think about all the hard work that goes into it.
Yeah. And it is within our historical linkage to share our bounty. Mm-hmm.
True.
The apron over the years has served many purposes, right? Protected hands from hot items coming out of an oven.
Mm-hmm.
In a moment of sadness or cutting an onion, wipe away the tears. They protect your clothes while you cook.
That's the main thing for me.
But how am I going to get my clothes messed up by microwaving a frozen meal?
You got to work at it, but you could. I mean, I'm the one who reaches in to grab it and goes, "Oh, that's hot," and it flies out and all over me.
The apron has also been used to swat away unwelcome kitchen visitors, right?
Hey.
Cats, flies, cookie thieves.
People.
Yeah, get out of here. Cookies are done, but they're not ready. They
That's why you
got
don't-
pockets to carry eggs and vegetables and utensils.
It replaces that towel that you would whip at somebody. It does. Yep.
That's right. And back in the day, they warmed hands for the cold children waiting to catch a bus in the morning. I mean, there's a lot of things aprons used to be used for.
True.
You know? So that's what it's about today.
Yes. And it reminds us to be thankful for the people doing the preparation of our dining tomorrow.
Our big day tomorrow.
For without them, we would probably be eating peanut butter sandwiches.
Yeah, couldn't imagine. And that's something that's sad for loners, individual people that are living alone, shut-ins or something. People that it's not feasible to make a big meal like that, and you don't want to go out. And then nobody should be alone tomorrow. Unless you want to be. Some people go, screw that, I want to be alone.
There is something to be said for a nice quiet day at home.
Yeah. And if that's your thing, that's fine too. Maybe that is your thing. Maybe you're like, I don't get into all this hoopla. I don't buy into it. I don't care for turkey, and I don't like my family, and nobody likes me. I have no friends. So yeah, screw you all, leave me alone, and I'm watching TV.
That's right.
And that's sad if that's the case. Because something happened to make you feel that way.
Yeah. Yeah, at some point you'd want to get out and connect with somebody, even if it was just for pie and coffee in the evening or something, if you didn't want to hang out during the day. I mean, just some sort of a connection.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I do get the other part of it. It's sometimes maybe that's the only chance you get to just sit back and chill, depending on the kind of work you do. I mean, say people, maybe nurses, that work really long shifts, and any of the, first responders, things like that. Maybe that is their day to just sit back and
exactly. They're like, I don't want to do anything.
Have a little me time. I mean, me time. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with me time.
Oh, for sure. We need more of it.
Yeah.
We need more of it. Now, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
You ever heard of Brown Friday?
Brown Friday? No. Never have.
Never heard of it. Keep your neighborhood plumber's number on speed dial.
Oh, no.
Friday is lurking about.
Oh, no.
Brown Friday. Why do plumbers call it Brown Friday?
Oh. Never mind. You've said enough.
No, it's not what you think. Shoppers are going to be all across America shopping, right? We call it what? Black Friday. It's the day that everybody makes up. All the businesses are in the black and everybody's happy. The consumers are happy. The businesses are happy. Everybody's happy on Black Friday. But you ever heard of Brown Friday? Sounds pretty gross, but it's not what you expect. But plumbers are involved, right?
Well, now
the day after Thanksgiving is one of the busiest days of the year for plumbers due to the increase of house calls.
Right.
But it's not necessarily clogged toilets. In fact, au contraire, mon frere, it's not, despite its moniker, toilets. Okay. It's house calls regarding clogged drains and broken garbage disposals.
Right. Well, there's that.
Yeah. More food cooked on Thanksgiving means more waste, which we don't always dispose of properly. When you're peeling potatoes, would you put the potato peels down the drain?
Had to learn that one the hard way.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I peel potatoes over the garbage.
We do now.
You do now because you
We do
find out the
now.
hard way. Yeah.
Sometimes we learn the hard way, and that was one of them.
Hmm. Some guests treat a garbage disposal as an extra trash can.
Yeah. I mean, you got a trash can for a reason. That's
Yeah.
the trash can.
Do not throw waste down a drain that cannot be liquefied. Doing so can overheat the blades or cause them to die,
Mm-hmm.
according to experts.
Yeah, and the other thing is grease too. I mean, say you get that extra turkey fat and things like that, and you're going to pour it off, and people just think, well, I can just pour it down the drain and runs hot water, but that only gets it down far enough to recongeal,
Right.
and get caught up with other stuff that's going down there, and then you have a big problem. And
Now, what about the notion of running cold water, pouring the oil down the drain or grease, and then it clumps up immediately, and then it's hardened, so would it not then just continue to flow?
I guess maybe if you did it slowly. I'm thinking if you run the cold water and then you just pour it in all at once, then as it's going down and it's congealing
gonna
all at once,
adhere to
then
the
it's just
sides.
it's
Right.
just all gonna stick really fast.
So don't pour anything. That's what
Yeah.
no one should pour fatty oils and grease down the drain.
Moral of the story: yes, get it in a container. Empty coffee cans are good for a reason. Put it out in the trash after it's congealed.
Yeah. One thing you could do is with your oil, you could save the empty. Coffee cans, save the empties, and then pour the oil in there. And then when you're ready to dispose of that, I don't know, then what do? Do you throw the whole thing away and hope it doesn't explode in the garbage can? Or what do? You know what I mean? Because you're still kind of throwing it away then, but it's not going down the drain into the system.
Well, it's one thing to throw it away, and I think throwing it away is fine, although I don't know at the same time, if you say you're deep frying a turkey or something like that, so you've got a big cauldron full of fat, of oil, I know there's ways that you're supposed to dispose of it. We've only had a fried turkey here once, and somebody else brought the fryer and did it, so they handled it. I pretty much stayed away.
Watched.
It was a good idea. Keep myself away from that. But
and they're dangerous.
They can be.
Yeah. You've got to make sure it's thawed out, and most turkeys are not thawed out completely when we cook them, it seems like. So if you do that, you got to make sure they're thawed out.
Which lends itself to another problem, because even if it seems thawed out and it's not going to start a big problem inside the deep fryer, if it's still a little frozen on the inside, you got to add cooking time, but you don't know how much because you don't know how frozen it is. And it's easy for it to come out undercooked on the inside, which leads to all kinds of bacterial tummy issues if perchance it's not cooked all the way through.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to do that, it's great. It comes out best. There's nothing like it, but you do have to know what you're doing, and you got to do it right. And
absolutely. That an experiment to be tried.
Yeah. Learn and follow directions, and you're good. Yeah.
Like garbage disposals, certain items cannot go down a toilet. According to toilet experts, the only thing suitable to get rid of is human waste and toilet paper. Nothing else. Nothing else. Yeah. So what do? You got to have extra trash cans. That's the answer. Extra trash cans, and people like put one of them screens in the sink over so that people know you can run water. But then if they do dump it, they go, "Oh, you don't have garbage disposal?" Right. Well, yeah, but we don't dump it. So dump it in the garbage. Yeah. Right. That way, people, if they do dump it, you catch it.
You can catch it and alleviate the problem. Sure, and it is a visual reminder if you happen to see it before you dump it in. Then
So all of our plumbers across America, first of all, special thank you to them for having to do that and on a holiday. Because let's face it, they're home too, and they're waiting for that call to come in. So, and although they're going, heck, I can charge holiday prices, that's wonderful. It still pulls you away from your family. What's more valuable than triple time? Time itself.
True.
So you could go ahead and be happy you're making $500-600 for a call, and that's great. But you're also remembering that you're losing that little bit of time. Maybe your son's favorite team's playing, which leads me to this, the football stuff. But yeah, time is the valuable item there. So it's very interesting. Now, for us, Bob, we talked a little bit earlier about football, National Football League, and being thankful for us living in a town that has a team. And for those that don't have a team, is Thanksgiving football as special to them as it is to us? Because the Lions were one of the teams that it originated with. And teams have tried to take it away from them because of now how big it's become. But back in the day, nobody wanted to play on Thanksgiving. They were like, the Lions can have it. But since the Lions have been so bad for so long, people go, it's not even fun to watch.
Well, that was the thing. And I think that was more the driver. It was like, if we're going to have it, let's have a game worth watching.
Exactly.
And they weren't cutting it. And, thankfully, we've had this little bit of a win streak. For us, it's a major winning streak. And so going into Thursday, there is a lot more excitement. But I don't know.
There is.
If you don't have a team, I mean, it's probably like any other weekend day. It'll feel like a weekend anyway because you're off and you happen to be eating, a little differently. But otherwise, it feels like a normal weekend day. You root for whoever's playing. And if there's just the Lions and the Bills this year, then maybe that's all there is. I don't know if there's another game after that or.
Yeah, there's 3, I believe.
Is there? Okay.
They used to have 1 or 2 games, but now it's a big deal. So they'll have the 12:30 Lions game, the 3:30 or 4 o'clock game, and then there's usually an 8 o'clock game too now, I believe.
Okay. Now that you mention that, I do remember that because we hosted Thanksgiving a few years back, and football was on, and it was of interest. And there was a game afterwards. That fell during dinner, which was much to a couple people's chagrin, but
people get mad about it, but
the TV went off for an hour and you had to come back and find the score later.
But see, we don't play that. We eat in front of the TV. It's
well, this was one of those times where you get the whole family together for the first time in a long time. And
right.
It's just like, no, not having it. Everybody's here for a reason. So, we're going to sit down and have a meal and then, do what you want.
See, it should be do what you want anyway.
Yeah.
But I know everybody's different. But I just don't see. It's funny to me how I feel like people use it as a tool, kind of, right? Like, no football. We're going to sit down as a family, and that's all good. Yeah. But I can still sit and have the game on and be socializing and talking. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so I always felt funny about people going, no TV. Now, if you're a child, you do that for a reason, right? You're instilling tradition to them, sure. Getting them used to eating at the table and being focused on that, because what do you get to do at the table? Learn about your kid's life.
Well, that's it. And there were a few youngsters involved in the mix, and I think that's part of it too. But no, I can see it both ways. And if it's just a little grown-up get-together or Friendsgiving or something like that, and you want football on, please enjoy.
Just keep it down.
Yeah, I mean, that was our thing that year for a particular reason. It's just like, no, we haven't all been together in forever, and let's spend an hour without distraction. That's all.
Yeah, I don't think that's too much to ask, but it is for me.
Well, I didn't think so, and there was compliance, and there wasn't even a lot of complaining. So
no, people probably wanted to spend the time and catch up and all. Yeah. So, I'm sitting here looking at this inside the investigation into who killed 4 college students in Moscow, Idaho.
What is going on with that?
Man, Bob, I don't know. It's crazy to think that one person could kill 4 people and basically go room to room to do it. Mm-hmm. And nobody heard. Well, people heard. We don't know exactly, but it sounds like a couple were confronted in their bed, mm-hmm. and then a couple of them heard the noise and came out and were confronted. Maybe that's what happened. And then the other 2 didn't hear a damn thing, which is to me hard to believe unless you're heavily intoxicated. and you're
Well,
passed
yeah,
out.
and you're passed out.
Yeah. And then you hear it, but you don't, because you're intoxicated, you're not thinking right. So you wake up the next day and you're like, oh, you know what? I did hear some noise. I didn't know what that was. And then everybody's laying there dead. But they didn't call 911.
Well,
They called other people, and other people called 911.
It makes me. It's probably been ruled. I'm sure it's been ruled out because of the evidence and everything else. But it makes you wonder when it's that hard to come across any clues and things like that. If it wasn't some kind of a murder suicide or a mentally ill thing gone bad. Again, I don't know enough of the details. I've heard the story. I know that it seems to be taking forever to find suspects, which kind of takes you to wonder if one of the suspects isn't now dead, which is why I can't find him.
That's a good question. That's a good point.
Just to think, it's like, well, if you can't find anything, you can't find anyone. If
right,
prints and all that, and any DNA, anything else they found doesn't match up to anything. I mean,
it just doesn't make sense. There's got to be DNA of the killer in there. There's no way. I don't care how, unless you're a damn expert at it. You'd have to be an expert butcher. You'd have to be an expert martial artist to be able to levitate above the ground and stab people and then not be able to do it. Just nearly impossible to not leave DNA there to kill 4 people like that. Yeah. No suspect has been arrested, but according to police, they're definitely making progress, right? Now, they're not going to share all the information with us, obviously, because it's a criminal investigation and there's a lot going on. And they say they've already interviewed more than 90 people. They've looked into more than 700 leads. Moscow, Idaho, is a city of about 26,000 people. Not one murder recorded since 2015. So now their anxiety level is heightened, obviously, because of the fact of you've got a quadruple homicide on your hands of young college people in a young college town that is now a ghost town.
Right.
Yeah.
Do they even have they even said that they have a person of interest or people of interest? I mean, they've done all this interviewing. Have they said that anything stands out or there's?
They didn't say.
They haven't said, okay.
They've said their statement is, quote, "It takes a while to put together and piece together that whole timeline of events and the picture of really what occurred." Mm-hmm. This is according to Idaho State Police Communications Director Aaron Snell. A lot of this the public doesn't get to see because it's a criminal investigation. But I guarantee you behind the scenes, there's so much work going on, end quote.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I believe all of that.
Oh yeah, for sure. They're doing it. They've enlisted outside help to get, let's face it, no murder since 2015. These are not seasoned detectives out there. There's no offense to anybody. That's a good thing. To live in a town where your detectives can't figure out a crime.
Right.
That's, I mean, you don't, I'm not saying they're incompetent. They're not experienced at this. A Detroit homicide detective, a dead body doesn't even bother you anymore. You can sit there, eat your Wendy's sandwich over the body. Try not to drip your lettuce and cheese on them.
Right.
Moscow, Idaho, population 26,000. Only reason it's 26,000 is because it's a college town. They don't exactly have the seasoned investigators there, and that's not a knock. That's a good thing.
Right.
But yeah, there's they don't have a person of interest yet. I would imagine if they did have a suspect, a person of interest that they didn't have captured, they would have flyers out of them, right? Mm-hmm. This is who we're looking for. Mm-hmm. So, but you can bet that whoever did it, if they're still alive, is watching.
Yeah, and they're also nowhere local to be found.
And that's the thing. There's national parks all around there. It's all open forest. You could be in and out of that town in no time.
Right. And then it comes to the question of why those four, why that, particular location and group of people. That's where I guess where investigations get really intense and bogged down. Who did each one of them know? Who had any beefs with who?
And they're dispelling a lot of rumors. There was rumors that one of the gals had a stalker. They cannot verify that. They've been unable to find that. The one person that was looking at them at the food trucks and kind of followed them out of there has been ruled out.
Okay.
So the people that were in the house sleeping with them have been ruled out.
Okay.
So they're ruling people out, and that's a good thing. Once you're ruled out, you can always be ruled back in again, but they do it a thorough investigation.
Sure.
I mean,
yeah,
there could be more than one person responsible for this.
Well, that's what makes it difficult, is you don't know. If you can't find anything, from the evidence that you have, and you don't know if it's one people or a group. But again, you would think that those who were around at that time would know more, like you said, unless they were passed out and didn't see or hear a thing until they woke up. If there were other people there, like they say, then there's something just not right about the story.
Well, we don't know the facts of it because it's an investigation. So it smells funny to us. And could you imagine living there? Like, lock your doors, walk in pairs. There was 6 people in that house and they killed 4 of them. Walk in pairs. What does that do?
Right.
So I couldn't imagine. Now we face it living in the Detroit City area all the time. We lock up the streets. I mean, what are you talking about? We got people walking around with guns and knives all the time, shooting each other and stabbing each other. It's nothing around here for that.
Right. And any major city has its places and its, areas where that happens. But
So now the University of Idaho, they've got to deal with this. Now they're saying, look, the students are now telling us what they want. How are we going to finish this semester when we come back? So they're saying you can either come back to class or you can do it remotely, in person or remote. It's up to the student. There'll be no penalty. You won't be penalized for homeschooling because we want you to not be killed.
Mm-hmm. True. And I guess, similarly, professors, staff, all of that, because it happened where it did, you have to wonder until you know more as to why.
Right.
There's a possibility there for anybody,
People are talking, people are confused, people are starting rumors with the lack of details, right? The absence of details breeds rumors. Then they're spiraling. So the police are trying to dispel them. People are upset and they want to make sure that only the truth is getting out there. They thought Kaylee Concalves had a stalker. They've not been able to verify or identify a stalker. The friends who made the 911 call have been excluded. The roommates have been excluded. The man seen on surveillance video standing near 2 of the victims had been eliminated as a suspect, as well as the driver who drove 2 of the victims home. The report of the skinned dog 3 weeks before the killings has been found to be not connected to the case. There was a dog in the home when the people were killed. The dog was safe, unharmed, and turned over to Animal Services and released to a responsible party. So why didn't he kill everybody and everything in the house? What led them to these 4?
Right.
Or was it one and the other ones heard the commotion and got killed and encountered him on the way in or out, maybe?
Right, and if the others were not there, then that would explain it. But if the others were there, then why not them?
And why would it take? Well, obviously, I would have to say, I can't say obviously. I would assume that it's obvious that preliminary, it looks like they were not involved in any way, shape, or form. Otherwise, they more than likely, if they encountered them, would have been killed. Because then I would have said, if you encountered it, why would you not call?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But let's talk about this 26,000 people in this town. Let's talk about this skinned dog 3 weeks before. You've got a sicko that's going to skin a dog, right? But this isn't the one that killed these 4 people, they don't believe. That's a problem, because what happens, they're practicing their craft. They're working on something, and they're working up to the human element. They start with an animal, a live creature, but doesn't have the same emotion as killing a dog as it does killing a human. It's a little easier to do. And then once you do that, it's the preconceived notion, the doing it's over. The hardest part's the first time. And then you end up with that.
There's no shock value there anymore. Now you've overcome that, you know, so it's, like you said, it's easier to do the next thing.
Yeah. So it's scary to think that in a small town like that 4 people could be wiped off the face of the earth brutally, and not with guns, with knives. You know how hard it is to stab, kill people? I mean, that was a big knife, but this is not an easy feat.
No.
And there were defensive wounds on a couple of the girls. So sad.
Well, and the other thing is, if it's a knife thing, and it's, you know, but you've got 4 victims. Then how did at least a couple of them not get out to get help? I mean, if somebody, I mean, you know, if one of your roommates, one of your friends, or whatever is being stabbed, unless there's 4 of them all doing stabbing at once, it would seem like, okay, sorry that, you know, the perpetrator's busy right now stabbing someone. Let's get out the door and call 911.
Right. Exactly.
So how did it happen that 4 of them got it and there was no, you know, no call?
Yeah, it's
a weird story. It's
scary.
Yeah.
Well, we're only getting tidbits of it too, so we don't know what's going on. I'm sure the cops do have a bigger picture, a better picture and timeline. I hope they do. Christ.
At this point, I hope so. Yeah.
If not, what the hell are they doing?
They should have piles of information. It's just putting it together. Yeah.
And it's sad because what's the there's no reason, but where have we gone wrong? Look at this. Like, I mean, just in Virginia, 6 people dead, 4 hospitalized after a shooting in Walmart last night. It's not even news anymore. It's not even worth talking about. It's just part of our culture, and it's disgusting.
And it is, and there's, you know, doesn't seem to be an end, obviously, as it keeps happening. I don't know how you turn this off. Penalties, as stiff as they are, apparently aren't motivating enough.
Right. It's not right, because they don't. It's not the. Yeah, they don't care.
I mean, that's
right?
it. They don't care. I mean, it's a point for, you know, bringing up the death penalty, and it's like, talk about doing it to others. You know, you're gonna go out and shoot 20 people. Guess what? Goodbye. But there's the whole moral issue of the death penalty, and I understand it, but at what point do we say enough is enough? And, you know, if you know going in that if you get caught, you're dead. Really?
Would it deter people? Right? Would it? I don't know. I don't know what the thinking is. Just the other day here in Detroit, 2 kids get out of school. One's in their grandmother's car, shot up. The 3 guys driving around the school looking for him. When they found him, they shot him. There was an argument that led into this, and the 2 people shot out front of a school, right in front of Detroit police, and they all got away. They're still looking for these suspects. How at school release time are the resource officers not out there where the kids are all at? And if they are out there, how in the hell did 3 people get away with shooting 2 people in 2 locations, and then they all flee and nobody's got them yet?
Yeah, it's dysfunctional. It always sounds good when they're talking about what they're doing, and, you know, we get the resource officers and the police are here and everything, and it all sounds good.
Right.
But then it falls apart the minute something happens, and there's got to be some some more figuring out of what that is. In the process, there's something really flawed, and it's easy for me to say sitting here, but I don't know how else to explain it. Clearly, there's, they're not explaining it very well, so it leads you to believe that, something's not right. Somebody's not doing their job. Their job is, or they're protecting themselves from their job so they don't get, involved in a mess. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing's a big mess.
I don't know what the end all be all is for it, for all this going on in the world, whether it be the killings, whether it be the hatred, even if it's just not acting upon it, but people that feel that if you're racist and you feel that Asians or black people or whatever, insert ethnicity here, doesn't deserve to have a good life. A transgender person doesn't deserve to have a job. You don't want them in your walk of life because it's uncomfortable for you because you can't figure out how somebody could be that way. What's the alternative? You know what I mean? And I don't understand how people, and it's fine if someone goes, I don't understand these queers. I don't understand these homos. I don't understand how a guy can be attracted to a guy. I can understand you feeling that way, but it doesn't give us the right to mistreat. I can understand, well, I can't understand it, but we have to understand that it's out there. Racism, right? You got white people that do not like black people. There's nothing you can do to change their mind. Something would have to happen to change their mind about it. We can't fight that. But what we got to fight is this, where does it come from? And I know the answer. You know the answer. It comes from our dinner tables, from mom and dad. The dad who wouldn't necessarily hurt me, right? But they talk down about us to their kids. I don't understand them freaks. What's wrong with them? They're ruining our nation, boys, girls, and all this. And the kids hear it. And now the kids take that point of view. Right. That's where it's happening at. Wow. That's why our 16-year-old kids are shooting each other in the streets. That's why you're between 13 and 15 years old where you're catching gun charges on the streets of our cities and you're ruining your life over it and you don't even realize what you're doing. It's because of our parenting.
And and obviously not having the judgment to watch what you're saying, no matter what you think. I mean, you may be, you're obviously all grown and everything, and your life has been what it's been, and maybe it's not been well, and you have a lot of anger and frustration and hurt about the way you had to live so far. But when you convey that down the line, especially to kids that are not old enough to understand and process the fact that why you would feel that way, they just hear the negativity and they absorb it like a sponge, because that's what kids do. Kids are like little sponges, and what they're around is what they soak themselves in and what they become. And unfortunately, people in that kind of a mental space don't think to have a filter on when they've got their kids around. They just go on about life the way they know it, and we project that to our kids, and then so the blood's on all of our hands in some ways, right? But we have to look to the people that, again, it's not you can be sitting there going, I don't teach my kid to go hurt people, right? But we're Christian and we believe homosexuality is wrong. Okay, that's all good and fine. But you got to be careful of the, what do we call it, dangerous rhetoric, I guess, or whatever, of allowing ourselves to be like, this group of people, you got to watch them. They're all, like, if they're talking about the LGBT community, they're all trying to make us soft, and they're all trying to make us love what they do, and a drag queen in every classroom, and all this BS. Nobody wants that. I don't want a drag queen in any classroom, unless they go to school there and they're learning. But yeah, we got to separate everything. But if they wanted to have a group together and the teacher said, okay, 8th grade class of people, what do you want to do for summer fun this year? And they go,
a family-friendly drag show the last day of school, and everybody in class wants it, or the majority, then you got America at work. But you got to make sure you got to tell the parents that you're going to have a drag show. And that way, if you don't want your kid to go, they don't go.
Yeah, they can opt out, sure.
Yeah. And then the other ones who get to go, they go, hey, this is cool. Maybe other people go and go, this is so weird, I don't like it. Maybe people go, I thought it was going to be weird, but I love it. And that's what happens most of the time.
Right, exactly.
You find out that, wait a minute, these are human beings. 2 of the people killed Saturday at Club Q were transgender. Daniel Aston, a 28-year-old bartender, right? Kelly Loving, 40 years old, young, gone. 28 years old, Bob.
No, it's sick. It's sad.
I mean, I've lived 2 lives from that person.
Sure.
It's not fair.
Just like you, and we don't think about it this way, but I mean, maybe a good comparison is you wouldn't give your kids Drano for lunch and say, here, drink the poison, but yet what goes into their head,
right, or same thing.
It's a lot like it's mental poison. It's here,
it's true.
It's mental toxins, and they don't go away. They sit and fester, and once they're in there, hard to
it's
get
so
rid of
important. Yeah,
and
it's true. It's
so,
very hard to get rid of it. Right.
When they're that young. I mean, once they're grown and they've seen more of the world in general, and they've mentally become more mature and everything else, and they can think for themselves a little bit. That's a little bit of a different story. It's putting perspectives and experiences and whatever ideas and good or bad are out there. They have a little better opportunity to filter it for themselves. But early like that, what they is what they're going to be, and that's people don't really absorb that. And as having been a parent, I mean, you always go, well, I could have done this better, I could have done that better, but there's a lot of things that you just wouldn't do anyway, and that's part of it.
It's true. This is an article. A lady named Allison Hope. She's a writer. And she's been featured in the New Yorker, the New York Times, the Washington Post, CNN, elsewhere too. But she's a professional writer, and this is an opinion that she wrote about the events that happened in Club Q, and it's despicable. It happens too much. Hate crimes are at a 13-year high. 1 in 5 hate crimes targeted LGBTQ people. For what reason? This is perfect too, because we just talked about this. She says, I weep for the young LGBTQ people who will never make it to adulthood, for those who cannot see past the hate to a future where they might step into the light and into their true, fabulous selves, right?
Right.
She says, I weep for a country.
I don't know how it is that in some ways, we're making progress. We're all becoming more accepting. And yet in other ways, you have all this.
I know. I weep for a country that continues to stand idly by and watch.
Yeah.
As the violence creeps ever closer to your home.
And again, what is exactly the answer? I mean, that's the problem that we have. If we had the answer, we would have solved it by now. And
True.
What we're doing isn't working. So this takes me back to that place that, people don't like to go, and I don't like to go. But if the perpetrators knew that, they did this, they get what they did. If you got what you did, if you killed somebody, you're gone. Bye.
Right.
If you maimed somebody, it's the old eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth thing. But if that was the world, if that was the real deal, if you get caught, this is what you get. there will be a lot of people that will think twice. It's not going to solve everything, but I think it would certainly make a difference.
So I got this jackass on my live feed again.
Yep.
I
was just seeing that. I just clicked over, and
yeah.
I don't have the control or ability to fix that. But
No, but he's got to go. They got to do something about this.
mm-hmm.
They got to do something about this. You can't be having all this go on.
Mm-hmm.
But
we ready for a quick break?
Yeah, we'll be right back. You're listening to Sapphire'S Soup du Jour on Hot 93.97. All right, yeah, let me work on this. Let's see. 1,
Like 3.
9:35. We come back.
Okay. I wanted to throw it out there in case you wanted to take one and weren't sure where we were at. So.
I'm getting really sick of this shit with StreamYard. I'm about done with this live chat shit because I'm not going to have these XXX sites popping up.
Right. Well, it does say, I mean, was on there is blocked and it's not visible, and it says it's blocked for 5 minutes. So I don't know what that means. You're gonna have to keep
they got to do
it
something about that.
constantly
But, all right.
as they come up. Yeah. Okay, I'll be back in a few.
Huh?
I'll be back in a few.
Okay. Yeah, we got a couple minute break here, and then we're gonna get back to it. Yeah, I got them blocked, but they gotta do something about these XXX sites coming up on these webs. This is like, what, you want us to use your product? I'm not going to keep using this crap if you're going to allow this shit on here. Good. Amy says they're not showing up. Good. Because I blocked them. It's porn sites trying to pop up to get dumb. Like they're so, these people are so stupid. I hope they're watching. They're so fucking stupid that they really think this shit works. You're an idiot. That's what you are. You're an idiot. You know, and you're probably fat. You got probably a 2-inch dick. It probably doesn't even get erect. No good for nothing scumbags. That's what they are. Well, I get mad about shit like that. I'm calm, I know. Oh, rough segment there, but we're not done with it yet. Oh, I got to go to Meijer after this and go get groceries. Oh, my God, what have I done? Wait until Wednesday before Thanksgiving to go to the grocery store to pick up the rest of my stuff. I'm an idiot. But Meijer's right down the street, so it'll be 10 a.m. when I get there. So I'll get in and out of there hopefully within a half an hour.
T-bars, the Halos.
Whoa, that's loud.
And everybody's welcome. Or the cheers of the LGBT Detroit bars, Adam's Apple, where they know what time you're coming in, where you're sitting, what you're drinking, and what time you're going home. Find them on Facebook today.
Good morning, Tyler.
And Adam's Apple.
Hey, 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 what is up, everybody? It's your girl, the Princess of All, and you are rocking with Sapphire'S Soup du Jour. Don't touch your dial.
Yeah. Name this tune. You can't. Oh, Lordy, Lordy. Whew. It's warming up in here a little bit, or maybe I'm just completely numb at this point. I think my left toe actually fell off in my sock. We got this song and then Shoop from Salt and Pepper. We go back at 9:35 and we're out the door at 9:45 ish. I got work. I got stuff to do, man. I can't wait to go home later and cook. I got to film a basketball game later. I'm not a big fan of basketball. I am a big fan of sports though, and I do like making money. See what I got to remember to get tonight, though, something to eat tonight, because while I'm baking the pies, I can't cook nothing. Oh, I hope I can get through this article. It's so heartbreaking. Yeah. Oh, Lordy, Lordy. It doesn't even feel like a Wednesday. Ooh-wee. Sun shining bright, not a cloud in the sky. Got to get all my makeup off of the microphone. Mm-hmm. Oh, boy. Amy, I said a half hour because I don't have a ton of stuff to get, but it's some of those like cornstarch, Cool Whip, and then the stuff for pies and stuff, but nothing major. Like I don't got to get the turkey. And so it's mostly just stuff right on the outside that I need to grab. So it shouldn't be too bad. I'm having my mother and my partner's aunt over. There'll be 4 of us, myself, my partner, my mother, and my partner's aunt. That's it. Small gathering, 12-pound turkey. I bought a 10-pound bag of mashed potatoes, but I'll probably only make 10 potatoes or something like that. But for 4 of us, I'll probably do a little more than that because you got to have a lot of mashed potatoes. Can't go wrong. And they don't go to waste. That's one thing. We make sure we do extra. Make sure you make a lot of food. I know I am. I love it though. Why? You can't make a small turkey, right? I mean, 12 pounds, almost as small as you can get, I would think. And I got a 12-pounder, and that's plenty for 4 people, 3 people, because my aunt is a non-meat eater. So she's getting salmon. I'm making her a piece of salmon. And I'm going to pan fry it. It's good that way. 3.5 minutes till we go back on. I can hear my stomach growling. All I had yesterday to eat was soup. Well, and beer. Beer and soup. And I've been driving by Long John Silver's every day waiting for it to open back up. It burned down. And then, well, it didn't burn down, but it burned inside. And I've been watching every day waiting for it. I know it's not healthy, but man, do I love Long John Silver's fish and chips or fish and chicken. I get the 2 pieces of fish, a piece of chicken, and then the hush puppies and the French fry. Oh, God, it's so good. Oh, it's 60 degrees down in Florida today, a little chilly. Yeah, I'm sitting here with my heavy coat on indoors, okay? It's cold in here. Ain't nothing I can do about it. 2 minutes left. You had popcorn for dinner, Alexandria. That's not dinner, honey. Listen to Shoot. Popcorn for dinner last night. That's right. Hopefully you were watching a movie at least when you were eating it. I guess, though, you could eat popcorn for dinner. No, Long John Silver since you were a kid? Oh, my God, I love it. I do. I love it. I used to work there when I was younger, and I used to love the crumbs. I would get the whole, they used to sell them for like a quarter. You could get a whole tub of crumbs. They act like they're gold or something. Like,
You do what you do. You made me want to shoot.
mm, 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 mm. 1 minute, 10 seconds till showtime. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Good morning, Casey Mack. Alexandria, turkey, dressing, yams, mac and cheese, green beans, greens, sweet potato pie, and pound cake. Man, we don't watch football while we eat dinner. We watch holiday movies, and then Dad watches football. Me and Mom watch our movies. Awesome. If it was murder-suicide, then was everyone stabbed? That's not adding up. That's a good point, Alexandria. You're right about that. It couldn't be murder-suicide. How would you stab? Well, I guess if you only, I guess it could be. You have to be crazy to do that, though, huh? Stab yourself? I'd be like, that's ballsy right there. You gotta stab yourself to death. All right, we are back at it. It is getting late. It is Wednesday. We're getting ready to get our grub on. I'm going to start eating my turkey tonight, I think. No, not going to happen. But all right, we're going to get through this article. This is very important. She says, I weep for the young LGBT people who will never make it to adulthood, for those who cannot see past the hate to a future where they might step into the light and into their true, fabulous selves. How shameful is that we prevent people in this country from bringing their true self? I weep for a country that continues to stand idly by and watch as the violence creeps ever closer to their homes, that allows homegrown terrorists to destroy our social fabric, our families, our children. That's deep.
She's right. It's deep and right.
Deep.
It's deep and correct. It's not right, but it's correct.
It's correct, yeah. The question I ask myself over and over again, she says, again, this is Allison Hope. I ask myself over again, she says, every time a cruel and senseless and violent act takes away more family members, people. The question, why? Why? Why does someone feel such hatred for LGBTQ people that they would be willing to risk everything to harm other human beings? What are you afraid of? What are you taught in your home?
Hello. That's what we said.
What are you taught in your home? Yep, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
It's learned behavior, hatred. Hate is learned behavior.
Yep.
Whether it's perpetuated within the bounds of the law or outside of it, hate wears a different veneer. But it all leads to the marginalization, stigmatism, and sometimes the death of fellow human beings. Is that what you want to wear in your sleeve to meet Jesus? I killed 3 people because they was gay. What the hell is that?
Yeah. See, the problem, and if it's indeed it is learned behavior, that would imply that if you've learned something, you can
Unlearn
unlearn it, or at least learn that it's not the way to be.
Acceptable. Yeah.
But it brings on a whole new level of challenge, a whole new level of what needs to be addressed. And to that end, when they talk about the lack of funding and resources and attention paid to mental illness, there's something to be said for that. That if you could get out in front of some of this and address it before it goes that way.
Yeah.
And again, it all sounds, perfect world. It's a lot easier said than done, but it would seem to me that that's maybe the next place to look, because we certainly don't have the answer nailed down so far.
No.
So let's give something else a try,
In the LGBT community, we refer to one another as family, right?
Mm-hmm.
Born out of a necessity.
Yeah.
Many of our own assigned families and biological families reject us.
Yeah. The phrase also chosen family. I mean, you choose who you associate with and who cares about you and who you care about,
And it's more than that, though. And this is her words. There is great comfort in being surrounded by people who love and accept you without conditions.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
Who understand you without you having to explain.
Or even one step further, who don't necessarily understand you, but still love you for who you are and
accept you nonetheless.
And accept you even though they may not get it. And that's really important to me. You're not going to understand everything about everybody. And this is one of those times where maybe you don't understand why somebody is the way they are. But it doesn't mean that you can't love them. It doesn't mean they're not good people.
Yep. Bars and clubs, long been a family gathering place for the LGBT. The only place we could go back in the day. We're very fortunate now.
Mm-hmm.
My life right now, I have nothing to be unhappy about other than the fact of the ugliness of the world.
Right.
Being allowed to live me the way I am is my true self, and be able to have a job and prosper and be able to live my life the way I want to. I'm so blessed. I would be a disgusting pig to not be thankful. I mean, I don't even know how else to put it.
Totally agree. I totally agree.
So I'm just, and to me, it's indicative of the real world we live in. These 22-year-old buttholes that killed gay people for whatever reason he had is rare. When it happens, it's unacceptable. But more people accept me for who I am than don't. And I got to remember that. Another thing that we think about in the gay community that other people take for granted, the excitement in passing by a fellow LGBT member, your gaydar goes off. You just know you just know. You're walking down the street. You're in a place, maybe it's not real LGBT friendly. Maybe where two men can't go walking around holding hands in this part of town. But then when you see somebody, and more than an ally, a member of the family, it's kind of invigorating. It gives you a little sense of safety. So it's sad that people have to worry about their safety because of the color of their skin, their sexual identity, their gender identity. None of that matters.
Nope. We talk about all the time, put a bag on someone, if everybody had no face and everybody had no look and you were just dealing with who you were talking to and listening to and it was all, non-visibly identifiable, you wouldn't have a lot of this.
No, you're right. It's despicable. I mean, and she even goes on to say, these things would not have happened if this 22-year-old shooter, alleged shooter in Colorado Springs, that ripped the safety net away from these kids, had proper gun laws been invoked, had he been raised in a household, listen to this, be raised in a household that validated that it's no big deal how someone identifies or who they love. It's that freaking simple, Bob. It's
it really
that
is.
simple. It
No,
is.
it really
It's that
is.
simple. And we
It
can't
really
figure
is.
it out. We can't figure it out. It's literally that simple. Teach your kids that it's okay. It's no big deal who people love and who they think they might be in their eyes.
Mm-hmm. I will say that in my interactions with younger people these days, when I get to talk to them or just you listen to them and hear some of the things that they say and how they think, it does seem to be moving in that direction overall. I do feel like the generation coming up is much more, I don't want to use the word tolerant, accepting, understanding.
No big deal. It's like, what's to accept? I mean, that's the deal. And you're right. It's the whole notion of, it's not even saying we accept you. It's, what the hell are you talking about? You're a human being. What do we care?
Right.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah.
And I do feel that, and I do see that, and it's encouraging. We got a long way to go, and like all this stuff, it seems like it takes generations to correct
It
things.
took generations to degrade this far or whatever.
Right. Oh, well, and again, things are never 100%, but if they can be improved, and as time goes by, and the generations coming up are able to break this pattern, then, it's a good thing.
5 years ago, in June, the Pulse, 49 people killed.
It was horrific.
People killed. Yeah, it's absolutely absurd, and it's pointless. So I didn't even plan to talk about this today, but it happened, and I'm fine with that.
It happened, and it was, it's stuff that needs to be talked about. It's the direction that the day's conversation went, and that's perfectly fine.
That's true.
It makes us, it's, I guess, Thanksgiving. We can be thankful for a lot of things, and we also have to be, concerned about a lot of things too. But
well, I mean, it starts at home.
Well, so it does.
We are the ones doing this, and it's unacceptable. And call it what you want. Guns, no guns. We got knife problems. We got people poisoning each other. There's ways to hurt each other. That's the problem. How can you look at another human being and think that you have the right, based on whatever preconceived notion you have of right and wrong, that you can do this? And it's just, yesterday I'm watching this stuff on the news a little bit about this guy and his mom, and I go, that bitch has blood on her hands too. She didn't pull the trigger. She didn't have anything to do with knowing that it was going to happen. But man, when you got a kid that's that screwed up, you got to play a hand in the responsibility for it. Sure.
Well, and we talk about that same thing with the school shootings and things like that. That, a lot of times there's a lot of signs way before, the tragedy that don't get addressed. So
it's sad. It's sad that in 2022, almost 2023, that the violence against anybody, armed robbery, bank robbing, stealing from hardworking people, all of this, it's a degradation of society that we're pointing fingers at, and we're demanding Joe Biden fix it. You fix it. You raise your kid right. Raise your kid to not be a butthole. How about that?
Let's start it at home, and if everybody did their part, then collectively we wouldn't be where we are.
Exactly. You got a word of the day. We're about to get out of here.
I do, as a matter of fact. Let's take it out on a little bit of a laughable note, I guess, thinking of the holiday
absolutely.
coming up. What's the word of the day that I just tripped over is busticate. Busticate, which is to break into pieces, which can go in all kinds of directions.
Busticate.
Busticate.
Which is kind of what this show did. Busticate.
Well, we sort of busticated, but I think of the Thanksgiving turkey gets busticated. We cut it up into pieces. We break it. That that glass that you have that you drop because you had a little too much happy sauce, that busticates. I mean, this could go everywhere. Don't be busticating somebody's arm because you don't like them.
Right, exactly. Or anything for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
That's
we
right.
gotta be able to do better. But yeah, being thankful for the life that we have. Look, I mean, we were talking about it last night at the Adam's Apple. Yesterday afternoon, I was at the Adam's Apple gay bar. Timmy, the bartender, and I talking. He says, I mean, I'm a bartender at a gay bar. The bartenders both got killed. You know?
Right.
It puts the perspective to this can happen anywhere. And now we're ready for it. It's a form of terrorism. It's domestic terrorism.
It really is.
You
No, it is.
terrorizing a group of people based on their color or their identity, their whatever, and it's wrong. And we're better than that. We should be better than that in America.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, we haven't been. So, all right, that does it for us. I don't know about you, but I'm going to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving.
Absolutely. Take, again, everybody, most folks get the day off work. Even if you don't get the day off work and you're helping everyone, an extra big thank you. Yeah. And step back, take a deep breath, and just it's so easy to get so wound up about things. And Thanksgiving's a great day to just that phrase, attitude of gratitude. I try to remind myself every day, and sometimes it'll just taking that pause makes a big difference. So,
well,
use the day as a big pause. Use the day as a
victims of Walmart, the victims of Club Q, the victims of Paul's, the victims of every shooting that's happened over the past however many years, because the pain never goes away for the victims' loved ones.
No,
it's unacceptable. But we're out of here. Have a great Thanksgiving, and we will see you on Friday morning. Until then, I'm Sapphire Pates.
I'm just Bob.
All right. Happy Thanksgiving. Bye-bye. I didn't even have a sign off.
Busticate.
Time to go. It's 9:50. I'm ready to get done. Oh, let me get off the broadcast here. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We'll see you soon.
See you Friday.